From a river of faith to a river of crisis, the Jordan River, where Christians believe Jesus was baptized, is facing an imminent threat. With water scarcity, pollution from sewage, and the impacts of climate change, the once revered river is now running dry. As demand for water increases and the planet gets warmer, even the limited water supply that people in Jordan have grown accustomed to is being cut off. Is this a dire foreshadowing of what's to come, or a fulfillment of prophecies mentioned in the Bible? The Jordan River, which flows through Israel, Jordan, Palestine, and Syria, has been recognized for a number of years as one of the most significant water resources in the Middle East. It has also carried an extremely significant cultural and religious meaning for Muslims, Christians, and Jews equally throughout history. The Jordan River is depicted in the Bible as a turbulent body of water, making it difficult for the high priests who were transporting the Ark of the Covenant to cross the river. If the people of Israel were to reach these reedy banks in the present day, they would have no trouble hopping the stream that is almost completely dried up. The filth may be the only thing that would cause them to hesitate. The yearly flow of the river has decreased significantly over the past half-century, going from more than 1.3 billion cubic meters per year to less than 30 million cubic meters. This represents a loss of more than 90%. The climatic catastrophe, regional conflicts, and the day-to-day requirements of people in the nations that surround Jordan have combined to reduce the amount of water flowing through its rivers to a pathetic trickle. At the 27th Conference of the Parties on Climate Change, which took place not long ago in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, representatives from both Israel and Jordan appeared to acknowledge the importance of taking action.
A great honor to be able to play a part in this opening ceremony of the 27th Conference.
A document titled Declaration of Intent was signed by ministers from both countries, and it was hailed as a historic step in rehabilitating the once-flowing river and ensuring that it will be sustainable for future generations. Also from the left-leaning Meretz Party, the then Israeli Environment Minister Tamar Zandberg referred to the proclamation as an expression of the connection between Israel and Jordan, neighboring countries with a river flowing between them. However, Israel and Jordan have already explored the possibility of undertaking such activities in order to preserve and reactivate the shared stream. When the peace agreement between the two nations was reached about 3 decades ago, requirements were outlined for the rehabilitation of the river. These provisions included environmental protection, agricultural pollution management, restrictions on liquid waste, and pest control. Along the banks of the river, there were also supposed to be parks, natural preserves, and other types of protected spaces, as well as tourist attractions and historical landmarks. However, despite the deterioration in relations between the countries, the renowned canal retained almost all of its previous characteristics. Israel and Jordan, along with Syria and Lebanon, continue to siphon off a significant portion of the pure water, and conflicts, both historical and contemporary, prevented collaboration and conservation from becoming priority. Thomas Friedman, who has long advocated the environmental problem as a factor that may finally force peace in the region, referred to the declaration between Israel and Jordan and expressed hope that it will now drive the countries in a new path in his most recent column for the New York Times. Environmental advocates have a positive outlook as well. Nadav Tal, water officer for the Israel office of EcoPeace, a regional environmental group that has long been working for the cleanup of the river, recently told Jewish Insider that what's happening now in Israel is a bit like a dream come true. If you had visited this place 10 years ago, no one would have believed that something like this could take place. Tal led Jewish Insider to Yardenet, a tourist destination located just south of the Sea of Galilee. This is the location, according to the beliefs of certain Christians, where John baptized Jesus for the first time. Additionally, this is the section of the river where guests may enjoy a short and relaxing kayak excursion. Tal stated that Israel redirected the majority of the water that flows to the area from the Kinneret many decades ago. Initially, the water was sent to an electricity plant located further south, and then it was transported via Israel's national water carrier to the heart of the country and beyond. Because of human engineering, the Jordan River, which flows southward into the Dead Sea, only receives a trace amount of fresh water along with a mixture of high-quality effluent and salt water. On the other hand, there is a brand new wastewater treatment center that has recently been constructed here, and there is land that has been reserved for a water desalination plant. The revitalized plan between Israel and Jordan is to improve the quality of the river's water supply, increase the volume of water flowing through the river, and send a sizable portion of this water to Jordan, which is one of the driest nations in the world. Tal, who is also the field coordinator for Eco-Peace in the Jordan Valley, refers to the rehabilitation effort as urgent. "We have to do it now, because the pollution is still continuing," he said. "We can't wait any longer. We've already witnessed what occurs when we fail to care for nature. Take, for instance, the Dead Sea. We disregarded the Dead Sea. We permitted water diversion and industry, and then nature exacted its vengeance by creating sinkholes, thereby causing damage to the local infrastructure, and the local population is now really suffering. The same thing is going to happen around here at some point." Tal proceeded by stating, "If we don't fix problems in nature, it will come back to hurt us," while using the illustration of a recent discovery of cholera in the waterways close to the Syrian borders. Cholera is a disease that is spread through contaminated water in areas that have inadequate sanitation, although it hasn't been seen in this area for decades. Everything is really simple to understand. According to Mansour Abu Rashid, a former Major General of the Jordanian Armed Services, who now calls himself a peace activist and who has been involved in efforts to rehabilitate the river from the Jordanian side, rehabilitating the waterway is important for both countries, but it is essential for his homeland. He continued, "As you are aware, Jordan is one of the poorest countries in the world in terms of its availability of water. Because of desalination plants, there is now sufficient water for drinking, industry, and agriculture in Israel. But on the other hand, Jordan is home to almost 4 million refugees who have fled violence and persecution in neighboring countries, and the country does not have enough water to provide for both these groups." According to Abu Rashid, the declaration that Jordan and Israel signed at COP27 will be a significant boon for Jordan's nascent water supply. As part of the plan to clean up the river, Israel will be responsible for releasing approximately 180 million cubic meters of water into it. Jordan will receive a fraction of this amount. The Jordan River is not only a river for water, but it's also important religiously in Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. It is a holy river, and we have to revive it, emphasized Abu Rashid. In addition to this, he said it's also very important for the peace between Jordan and Israel. Idan Greenbaum, the head of the Emek Hayarden Regional Council, was of the same opinion. He stated that the waterway had been ignored for a very long time and that cleaning it up now was vital for both parties. Greenbaum, who lives on the Israeli side of the river, just south of the Sea of Galilee, said, "We have a very peaceful border with Jordan. The only things that keep us apart are the river and the fence. When there are threats in Jordan, such as wildfires, agricultural diseases, and other natural calamities, they soon spread into Israel." Greenbaum proceeded by saying, "Those of us who live in this area do not have the privilege to fight with our neighbors," adding that we pay the price of politicians who are not careful with their decisions. When there are disturbances in Jerusalem, particularly on the Temple Mount, it has an effect on us here. Greenbaum recounted an event that occurred in 2017 at the Israeli embassy in Amman, where the security officer opened fire, resulting in the deaths of 2 Jordanian individuals, one of whom was attempting to carry out an attack. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu commended the guard for his bravery at the time, which sparked a diplomatic crisis with Jordan. A few weeks later, according to Greenbaum, wildlife afflicted with rabies crossed the border from Jordan, putting human lives in danger. He stated that at the present time, relations with Jordan are very good. "We are making an effort to cultivate them, although it is challenging given the political climate in Jordan at the moment." There has been some unrest in the kingdom as a result of the increasing cost of living and dissatisfaction with the rule of King Abdullah II. However, the country is also closely watching as Israel's new government, which includes right-wing figures who have argued for a change in the status quo at the Haram al-Sharif, which contains the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and the Dome of the Rock, which is under the custodianship of Jordan. The Western Wall is located below the Temple Mount, which is the name given by Jews to the area. According to Jonathan Chancer, Senior Vice President for Research at the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies, a think tank based in Washington, D.C., the River Rehabilitation Project was a bullseye if the goal was to find a subject of shared interest to both parties. However, he went on to say that any form of cooperation with Israel has grown extremely unpopular in Jordan, to the point where certain segments of the populace even make fun of the country's practice of receiving gas from its Jewish neighbor. Quiet cooperation between the two countries seems to be the only cooperation that really works in recent years, said Schanzer, who recently authored a study on Jordan's participation in the Abraham Accords normalization process with Israel. Schanzer's research was on Jordan's place in the process of normalizing relations with Israel. Israeli intelligence, military support, and the continuous provision of water and energy all take place out of the view of the Jordanian people. Yet, the contact between the two countries in pretty much every other way has been fraught with friction. Schanzer continued by saying, a significant portion of this tension stems from a decision taken on the part of the royal court and the political elite in Amman to engage in vitriolic rhetoric against Israel. The Israelis continue to take this quietly, but their frustration levels are rising, the author writes. Greenbaum has also expressed concern about the silent cooperation and the influence of political turbulence between the countries, although he has stated that he is optimistic regarding the river revitalization project. His jurisdiction extends across a stretch of the Jordan River that is approximately 14 kilometers or about 9 miles long, and he has stated that there are plans to establish a national park as well as a protected nature reserve there. EcoPeace knows how to deal with the Jordanians and the Palestinians on environmental initiatives. They can bring the sides together, he said, adding, besides, we don't have much of a choice here but to collaborate with our neighbors. If we are unable to work together, it will be a challenge for all of us. In Jordan, Abu Rashid expressed his optimism that the significant project would move forward, despite the fact that the new Israeli administration had not yet made any decisions regarding the matter. They are not giving us water out of mercy for Jordanians. It is written in an international agreement signed by the leaders of both countries and the parliaments of the countries, he said. It's written in an international agreement, and the people are obligated to respect what has been signed, and the new government's required to maintain water delivery to Jordan in accordance with the terms of the peace treaty. Abu Rashid continued by saying, Jordan and Israel have good cooperation in the areas of military and security. However, this is not enough. I have high hopes that they will be able to demonstrate the same level of leadership on other fronts, including politics, commerce, industry, water, tourism, and cross-border collaboration. Tal, the representative for EcoPeace, expressed similar optimism on the plan's implementation. There are always going to be unknowns, he told Jewish Insider, but what we do know is that there is now a will and a channel of communication that we need to keep open. That's all for today's video. If you want to watch more videos like this, please don't forget to give this one a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, and thanks for watching.